Earlier this morning, Jeff said that things don't seem to be progressing very fast, and I take his point. I mentioned last year at this conference that by the time of this conference, an important innovative project at Sheffield Hallam University should be up and running. There was a lot of interest, and I'm very grateful to Robin for allocating this slot this year, so I thought I'd bring along the people who did it rather than just have a bit of hearsay. Most universities have advice clinics. Some run court-based help desk services. At Sheffield, we have Sheffield Hallam Help Desk. But the limitation on university-based legal clinics is that they can't undertake reserved legal activities, and so it stops at the door of the court. Is there a way to expand the student participation in legal advice projects? Well, the three speakers on my right seem to have found a solution. In SHU Law, Sheffield Hallam University Law, a fully functioning, insured and regulated law firm operating within a university law department. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Professor Liz Smart, Solicitor and Head of Law, Sally Ayres, the Senior Solicitor with SHU Law, and Chris Riley, Head of Legal Provision. They'll tell you how they did it and how it works, and they positively welcome questions.
Thank you very much, everybody, for giving us the opportunity to share our experiences with you. To pick up on the point that Graham has just made. It sounds to a certain extent as if the scale up, the step change that we hope we've managed to achieve has taken place between the last 12 to 18 months. It has to be said that it's taken a lot longer than that for us to be able to be in the position that we are here today before you. The idea, the concept, the innovation of SHU Law first became a topic of conversation within the university in 2013. And I will say hand on heart that it has taken literally from 2013, with all the help of my esteemed colleagues, both within the judiciary, the legal profession, the business community and my academic colleagues, to really pull together to have the resilience to have made this work and achieved what is, again, as Graham has already said, a fully functioning legal practice. So this is a blueprint for the university. The university aims to be one of the world's leading applied universities, and it is a model that is being replicated across the university. So how does it work? It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the university. It is a not-for-profit teaching law firm, and it is based on our central core values of driving forward access to justice and defending, promoting human rights, all values which are enshrined in the Helena Kennedy Centre, under whose auspices we work at the university. The firm is run by practicing solicitors, and you will hear more about that from Sally in a few moments' time. And they provide advice and representation, and they do this assisted, where appropriate, by students. And the key aspect here is this isn't just students in their final year of study. These are all of our students in every single year of their study. So all the first years gain experience within SHU Law, all the second years, and all the third years. It isn't even voluntary. I've made it a core part of the degree that is offered for these students so that they gain an outstanding experience and they develop what we know are transferable skills, not just within the legal profession, but in the world of work and the economy in which we run our businesses and our communities. So we launched in February 2019. Currently, there are over 300 students who are working with our practicing solicitors in SHU Law, and by 2020, this figure will more than have doubled. We are very lucky in the resource and the support that we are given by Sheffield Hallam University. We have a range of legal, professional, administrative support staff. It is housed in separate premises with bespoke teaching rooms and client-facing facilities. It offers an online case management system, so the students are developing all those skills, a telephone conferencing suite, and it has its own website. So if anybody does want to have a look at the website, not surprisingly, it is called SHU Law, shulaw.co.uk. We provide a wide range of services to the clients, and Sally and Chris are going to take you through those. But just to give you a little bit of a flavour, it's work that spans across all social backgrounds, featuring serious and topical issues such as helping victims of gender violence, knife crime, and really inculcating within the next generation of lawyers and professionals, if you like, a new generation Q, a real commitment to doing this type of work, to providing help and advice to those who need it most when they need it most. And I think I will stop there and I will hand over to Sally, unless anybody has got any questions at this stage.
Okay, Sally.
Thank you. So I've been at the university nearly 2 years. I am a practicing solicitor. I was employed specifically to put SHU Law into operation and remain as a practicing solicitor. I have 2 roles within SHU Law. One is that I am the Compliance Officer for Legal Practice, and the second is that I'm an Information Guardian reporting into the Data Protection Officer for the university. And the reason why I tell you that is because it perhaps gives some brevity to the scope of what we've had to navigate through in terms of regulation, marrying the requirements of the SRA with the requirements of the university. And as Liz said, we've been very lucky in terms of the support that we've had with that. Okay. In terms of key regulatory issues, we were fortunate that we had some pre-application engagement with the SRA. We were less fortunate that they didn't actually give us the answers to some of our questions, and we had to navigate those challenges ourselves and come up with a solutions-focused approach. One of the key challenges was the fact that our students are not employees, so they're not automatically caught by the code of conduct. So what we have to do is we have to train them on a series of issues such as client care, which on the issues that we've discussed this morning, really important, confidentiality, conflicts of interest. So they undertake a vast amount of ethics and induction training so that they can then enter into an agreement with SHU Law that we refer to as our statement of terms, so that they are bound by both the SRA Code of Conduct and data protection regulations. Within that training, we talk about some of the issues that we've touched upon today. So it's very much about taking our practical experiences to the students and explaining to them that the letter of the law and applying it is not just about the administrative process, it is about the person that sits at the heart of what we do. And certainly through the networks and the connections that I've made through some of the people in the room here, some of the events that I've attended I've found extremely helpful and wish that I'd had access to those many years ago when I was first doing my training. And I'm a graduate of Hallam. I did the law clinic module when we couldn't give advice and representation. So for me, I've come full circle and can now do the reserve legal activities and the advocacy for these people that we serve. And I suppose the key thing in terms of the regulatory requirements is that the best interests of our clients has to come first over and above our students' requirements. And as a practitioner, it's my job on site to make sure that that remains the case. Okay. We have also had to implement great measures to protect confidentiality, and again there's an education there for the students in respect of that. We have a great facility where the university has given us our own building. We have within that a telephone conferencing suite so that we can teach the iPhone generation how to speak to people and how to deal with face-to-face interviews as well in our interview suites. And the feedback so far has been really, really positive. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing the impact of what we're achieving with our students as we get the different degree cohorts through the programmes, but more importantly, what we achieve with our clients and the gratitude that we're already getting from the organisations that we work with about meeting unmet legal needs. And Chris is now going to talk to you about some of those things that we do.
Absolutely. So, as Liz mentioned, 300 students working across a whole range of different areas. And one of the things we're very keen to promote is that SHU Law is out there to collaborate, to innovate. And we work with a number of stakeholders in Sheffield and the wider national region whether that be support through court or appeal here in London with the criminal appeals work that we do within SHU Law. We've got a whole raft of different services that we offer clients. And here are just a few of them. So we do have an award-winning court help desk, a Sheffield Hallam court help desk, which does provide advice to litigants in person down at Sheffield Combined Court. And that has really been developed for a long time with the help of Graham and his colleagues down at the court. And there's a long history there and having a significant impact in helping those people access justice. My particular area is around criminal appeal work, but also in terms of prison law advice around recategorisation, representations, around sentence progression, and transition back into society. We also do a number of things around small claims, both through the court help desk, but also within SHU Law. We also work in terms of the criminal injuries compensation scheme. So Liz mentioned around helping access to justice for victims of domestic violence and knife crime. So we have, we're the sole kind of provider of the CICA claims within the Sheffield area. Employment, and one of the other big advice provision we offer is through the Refugee Family Reunion Clinic. Which is extensive, and we're very lucky to have two extremely well-versed people in those particular areas working with us and having a very good impact in over 100 cases that they've thought through in terms of reunification and the issues with that. But all of these things are only possible that we're able to provide with students. So my focus really is around Sally's their best interest of the clients. I'm here really around the student experience and making sure that they are properly trained and able to support the lawyers within SHU Law and across our clinical provision. We have extensive training, as Sally mentioned, for students. They have a telephone suite, but they also use a case management system, which can be sometimes difficult to navigate, but they're there at the forefront. So a lot of what we do has also been recognised through industry awards and also through the kind of university awards as well, in terms of the quality of what we offer, but also the impact. And SHU Law is now upscaling and able to extend from a letter, advice, etc., to reserved activities. So this is a really exciting transition for us, and like I said, it's very much around collaborate to innovate, and it's been good to have some of these conversations already around how we can then grow organically, because we've not hit our first birthday yet. I think that's back to Graham.
Open question. I'm going to ask a couple of obvious questions. First, how many solicitors are employed within SHU Law?
There are a range of solicitors, so currently there are 4 solicitors who are fully practicing solicitors who work full-time, 52 weeks of the year, no holidays obviously, and we also have 10 academics who are also practicing solicitors. I would include myself in that, so we will tend to be a hybrid model. We're both academics, but we also practice in terms of live client work. And we are in the process of recruiting additional solicitors and also some paralegals who can gain some qualifying work experience and maybe some of the first candidates that go through the new iteration of the solicitor's qualification examination in 2021.
And in terms of how far your students can go, could they theoretically appear before a district judge?
Yes, absolutely they could. Obviously, the first years, perhaps not, but the aim is that we scaffold their learning and their skill set and their confidence so that as they progress through their second and third year, subject to the supervisory and the regulatory requirements that Sally has such good control over, they will be coming down with us, observing, shadowing, and then ultimately, yes, representing before judges.
Questions? I think we've just got time for yes.
I'm wondering about surprises along the way.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I'm wondering,
I think the question is he's wondering about surprises along the way.
It's an absolutely excellent question. There have been so many challenges along the way, some anticipated, some not anticipated. And I would, without having a crystal ball, I would suspect that there will be many more along the way. But I think what we have learned is that by working very collaboratively with our external as well as internal partners and having a clearly defined, coherent strategy, we are able to, if you like, retain the confidence and resilience to know that we can succeed and achieve and navigate those surprises, be they good or not so good, that come along from time to time to challenge us. But our infrastructure is sound.
I think, yes, gentleman at the back there.
Policy External Affairs at LawWorks, and we do a lot of work with the clinics across the country who are often struggle sometimes with the regulatory issues. And you mentioned, for example, students not being employees. But of course, now that the SRA rules have changed 2 weeks, just last week, and have a slightly different kind of structure, and in particular, employeeship is no longer the sort of gateway of legal practice compared to where it was under the previous system. Do you find the new SRA regulations helpful to work with, or compared to the previous regulations, or do you see more challenges ahead?
I think the biggest issue for us is ensuring that the students are kept up to date. Liz touched upon our collaborate to innovate approach, so we're lucky that we work with lots of different organisations and we have 50 local law firms that work with us. One of the meetings that I've had this week is with a legal trainer who has given us all of the resources to update the SRA regulation training to the students and the staff. That's the biggest challenge, just making sure that we're up to date in respect of that.
And I think we're now out of time. Thank you, Rob.
Well, a huge congratulations to the team from SHU Law. I hope Liz won't mind my saying, this being the first time we've had the pleasure of the company of a team from the university at Sheffield. She said, how do we all keep in touch? How do we make sure that ideas from today really build progress? She'd already, if I may say, identified that there were quite a few people in this room she would and her colleagues would be following up with. But my response included that part of this is about setting ourselves objectives for the next 12 months, often in collaboration, often with the determination to come back and actually show the progress that has been made, or to share a new idea, or to pick up the next idea. And then there's the continuum of the LIP network, the virtual channel, which we'll continue to try and build and improve, but which can keep people in touch across the year, and that can be as interactive as you want it to be, and will no doubt include that as with everything else in the consultation ahead. So those were a couple of the answers that I gave her. We now move on, though, to the breakout sessions, and those too will build on the ideas and the relationships. Now, there are 4 of these, and just indicate briefly, if you take the door there, some of the volunteers will help. You go up to the first floor. On your right will be the breakout group that's going to concentrate on public legal education. On your left will be the breakout group that's going to concentrate on assisted digital or digital support. In this room will be the breakout group that is going to concentrate on that important combination of gathering and using information, but with a particular focus on vulnerable people. There's one more breakout group, but it's limited, I hope you'll understand, to those who are LIP liaison judges.